What's up guys, Hunter here with Technical Gaming, and in this video I want to talk about the mid-season reinforcements update that was just released yesterday, or at least at the time of making this video. It may go up on the 17th, which would mean that it was released 2 days ago, but either way, before I get into this video, I want to say I'm sorry for not uploading in probably about 2 weeks at this point. It's been forever. I'm really sorry. I've been busy with school, work, soccer, saving up for a car. I mean, all of this kind of stuff. I mean, there's just so much crap. Really haven't had much time to make YouTube videos, let alone play games. So it's been pretty busy. But anyway, I do want to let you guys know about this mid-season reinforcement update patch, because there's a lot of pretty cool updates, even though it's a little bit smaller of an update overall as what we've gotten in previous mid-season reinforcement updates. There are some still pretty substantial changes here that are going to be pretty cool, and in my opinion are much needed. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and talk about the biggest change that came with this update, and that is that Glaz now has a thermal scope. And this is really cool because it's going to give him a big buff and going to make him a much more viable operator. So with this thermal scope, obviously I think most of you know what a thermal scope is. Basically, whenever you look down sights or aim down sights, you're going to be able to see all the enemies highlighted in orange. Of course, you know, you're not seeing them through walls or anything like that, but you know, whenever you're actually looking at them, you'll see orange instead of just seeing a normal looking character, which will make it a lot easier to specify if it's an actual target or not and take them out pretty quickly. And I have tried this out. It works really well, and I'm really honestly excited to use this character a lot more now. I don't really, I've never really used Glaz all that much in the past, but I think with this update, it will make him much more viable. Also, he can now see through smoke grenades with this thermal sight that he has, or thermal scope. So whenever you throw down some smoke grenades, whether it's Capateos or Ashes or Glaz's own smoke grenades, you can throw those down and you'll be able to see through the smoke, so the enemy can't see you, but you can see them, and you can probably take them out pretty easily. So that's going to be a really cool change for Glaz. I'm really excited to see how this one works out and see what people can do with him, and I think this is going to make him a much more scary operator to go against on the defensive team. So anyway, let's move on to the next update. So the next update is also a pretty big one, and this is that they're going to be introducing public test servers into Rainbow Six Siege. So this is a pretty great thing. A lot of other games do this, such as Overwatch, and it's great because you can kind of crush out the bugs, because a lot more people will be actually testing it, more than just their play testers that they have at Ubisoft. So a lot more bugs will be found and can be crushed actually in the test server, instead of in actually going into the game and then having to be fixed. So this is not actually into the game yet, but it will be within the coming weeks, I believe. So this is a pretty exciting thing for Rainbow Six Siege. Now the next thing that they changed in this game, or not really changed, but they added to this game, is a new elite operator gear set, which unfortunately I don't really have the money to buy these things. As I mentioned before, I am trying to save up for a car, so I don't really have the money to buy these things, but for people that do, these things are really cool, and I think this is probably the coolest one, at least in my opinion, that they have come out with. And this one is for Twitch, and it looks absolutely badass. She has like this French, like old-timey kind of French look to it, and it just looks really awesome. Also, Twitch is really freaking hot. Anyway though, this is just a really cool little update, and even though I don't personally buy these things, for the people that do, I think they'll really enjoy this elite gear set. So that's pretty much it for the major changes in this update, but there are a lot of smaller updates that I want to mention because some of them are pretty important. We'll go ahead and start off with Doc, which actually received a buff. Now he can overheal to 140 health instead of just 120 health, which is a pretty significant update. I mean, it's not going to completely change the game or change how he works, but I think it may actually entice people to overheal more than they would at this point, or previous to this update. And the only other operator tweak in this update is that they gave Buck an extra magazine for his skeleton key, which really isn't that big of a deal, but if you do like to play Buck a lot, then you probably will be pretty happy about this. Now there are a lot of weapon balancing, which I'm going to go over very quickly because there's a lot of it, as I said. The most exciting of which is that they actually fixed the red dot sight, the reflex sight, and the hollow sight. The reticles are now smaller again, so they've actually fixed this quite a few times. Before they were larger, then they made them smaller, and then with one of the last previous updates, they made them larger again, and then now they finally made them smaller again. And I did notice that when I was playing yesterday. So that's really exciting. I'm so glad because I absolutely hate when they made them bigger. It's just so annoying. I feel like they're just way bigger than they should be. It really gets in your way whenever you're trying to aim down sight. So I think this is a very good thing, and I'm very happy about this update personally. The other thing is now the DMR's trigger rate has been adapted to prevent rapid firing. Echo's MP5 SD2 does more damage at range, so that's his submachine gun, Echo's submachine gun, and this is another update that I was pretty happy about because I do like to use Echo, but that gun was definitely underpowered, and now it definitely has gotten a pretty good buff. I could read you the specifics, but I'm just going to leave the link to this website down below where you can read all the changes, so I don't have to make this a super long video. But moving on to the next gun update, Thermite's 55XI is easier to control, so I think they just reduced the recoil a little bit on Thermite's assault rifle. Another big change that I'm pretty happy to see is Caveira's Louison's, which is her pistol that she can use to go into like silent step or silent mode or whatever you call it. It actually got a little bit of a buff, which is pretty surprising. A lot of people already use her. She's a very good operator already, or she already has been. So it's pretty surprising to see her get a buff. And I thought her pistol was already pretty good. But I'm not going to be too upset about it unless it really is like super overpowered or anything like that, because I really like Caveira, but I don't think it'll be too bad, and I think it's a welcome change. One of the big changes that a lot of people are probably going to be pretty excited to see is that Jackal's assault rifle, or the C7E, has got a nerf, which was definitely probably needed. His recoil is now a lot more for the C7E, which a lot of people were looking forward to because they were just calling this thing like a laser. It was such a good weapon. It was obviously the best weapon in the game. So it's a good thing to see that they have taken some of the player response to this weapon and fixed that. And then the last thing that I think I'm going to mention here is that Capateo's Para 308 is getting a recoil buff. So his assault rifle, I believe, I'm pretty sure that's his assault rifle. So that should have less recoil now at this point, which is a really great thing. So that's all that I'm going to mention in this update. There's also some other little small bug fixes and things like that, but that's pretty much the majority of it. Let me know what you guys think of the updates in general, really. Mostly like the Glaz thermal sight, that's one of the big ones. I'd like to know your guys' opinions on that. I think it's really cool. And just let me know what you think about everything else in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. I'll try to get some more videos out pretty soon and not take forever like I did with this past 2 weeks. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.